In this lecture, we're going to have a closer look at the sample application that we're going to use throughout this course. In my other course, TIA Portal PLC Programming Basics, which I would advise you to take first before taking this course, this sample application is being translated into a fully functional PLC application, the same PLC application that we're using in this course. In this lecture here, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the sample application. For students who have already taken my first course, I would still advise you not to skip this lecture, because there are a couple of interesting new additions to the sample application. So in its basic form, our sample application consists of one supply tank and two process tanks. The supply tank is able to supply water to one or both process tanks using a combination of valves and pumps. When a process tank has a low water level and requests water from the supply tank, we call this a refill sequence, because the process tank is being refilled. In my other course, we have broken down this refill application into one supply module and two refill modules. When we have a closer look at our supply module, we can see that it consists of a supply tank with a digital low-level sensor and a pneumatic valve. The low level has an on-delay input parameter. In our overview here, the delay is set to 2 seconds, so this means that the low-level sensor needs to indicate a low level for more than 2 seconds in order for the low-level status to be activated. Now let's have a look at a refill module. Both refill modules are identical in functionality, so we're just going to have a look at one of them. Each refill module consists of a process tank with an analog level measurement, a membrane pump, and a pneumatic valve. For the process tank, two water levels are defined. A high water level, here set at 65% in our overview, and a low water level, here set at 15% in our overview. Both water levels are defined as input parameters. For those of you that have taken my other course, these input parameters are new in this course. In the other course, we didn't have a supply low-level delay, and the low and high level of the process tanks were hard-coded percentages in the PLC program. Here they are defined as input parameters, because the idea is that they can be adjusted by a user on the HMI panel. So now that we had a closer look at our supply and refill modules, let's go through the steps of a refill sequence. Let's assume that the water level in our process tank 1 goes below the low level of 15%. Now when this happens, the refill module of process 1 sets a refill request. If there is enough water in the supply tank, then this refill request opens the valve of the supply tank. When that valve is in open position, the valve of the refill module opens and the pump starts pumping water from the supply tank to the process tank. When the water level in the process tank reaches the high level of 65%, the pump stops, the valves close, and the refill sequence is complete. So that's it for this lecture. In this lecture we had a quick overview of our sample application and we went through the steps of a refill sequence. In our next and final lecture of this section, we're going to have a look at the different parts that make up an HMI application. Thank you for now, and I'll see you on the next lecture.